Whenever I could have this kind of dream, I could feel like I need to continue. Oh. Yeah, my body was always hot, very hot. So I felt like, okay, I need to continue. This thing continued. Even on the road when I was walking, I could feel like I need to hide somewhere and do it. Oh, how bad was it? It was really, really bad because I could do it like 6 times a day. I'm from Kisumu, Siaya County, a place called Uyoma. So when my dad died, things were still tough. Yeah. I could only be happy when dad was in the village. But when he comes back to Nairobi, I could face problems. So when he died, that was the time I washed my hands and I said that, okay, I'm done. Like, I cannot stay here anymore. I have to go. I went up to Mombasa. I became a house girl and I could talk to them to allow me to go to school. So there's a lady who agreed and she told me that when you stay in my house, you want to go to school, you can't go the whole day. Maybe you can join Gumbaru and go to school. Adult education. Is that fine by you? Then I said, it's okay, fine. And I did my KCPE. Wow. Yes. So I came back home. I went back to Kisumu. I thought my mom would at least take me to school. Yeah.
No high school.
Yes. She didn't do anything.
She accepted you. She did ask you where you've been all this time.
She only asked me like, where have you been? You, what is wrong with you? Where have you been? I told that I was in Mombasa. I had friends from South Sudan and we organized and they took me to South Sudan. Yeah. So when I reached there, I started working.
Is that what?
As a waitress. Yeah, because there were no houses. So at least when you work in a hotel, they can host you and give you food. Yeah, and it was not safe yet. The security was really, really bad. So when I was working there, people could harass me. Yeah. Want to carry you by force, you know. They were tough. Yes, South Sudanese men. So I met this guy and I had to force myself to date him for my security. Because when they know that you're dating a South Sudanese, you're safe. But when they know that you're dating a fellow Kenyan or any foreigner, you'll be in trouble. So I started dating him.
How old were you at this time?
I was 21. Yes. And he's my baby daddy, my daughter's father. So I could come home often just to visit my family, go back. In 2009, I conceived and came home to start life here. I gave birth to my daughter. And the time I was pregnant, the guy became irresponsible. When she turned 6 months, I took her to Sudan to see the grandfather. And from there, he gave me some money to start a life with. So this money, when he gave it to me, I constructed a house in my father's compound.
Must have been a lot of money.
It was $1,300.
Like
no, it was $2,400. When I changed the money, it was $130,000. Yes. So my dad had a house in Jericho. So I went and constructed my house in the compound. That's where I stayed for some years. In 2014, I used to go back to Sudan to hustle because when my daughter turned 1 year old, this father-in-law abandoned me. Later, after a few months, I had a friend we were staying together in China. That time she was here. She started sending me a message that, hey, Ruth, you know, I got you a husband. And I'm like, okay, did I tell you that I'm looking for one? And she was like, you know, there's a guy who's looking for a wife. And he's your tribe. He's your tribe mate. And he's staying in Europe. So I want you to meet the person. I want to connect you guys and talk, you know. I already told him about you, so don't let me down. And everything. I said, no. Me, I never like my tribe mates. I don't want a low guy. She was laughing like, stop joking. You know, you like jokes. Just accept him, please. Then I told her, okay, I'll just talk to him because of you, but I don't want anything.
So you didn't have any expectations when you were talking?
Yes. So when I started talking to this person, it was around August, and we agreed to meet back home in December.
Same year?
Yes. So I was coming home for vacation and we met. The guy came home on 22nd December. And he had told me earlier that, okay, we are not going to go to Kisumu first to meet my family. We'll stay in Kisumu for a week. So when the guy came in the evening, on 23rd, we were just there. When we went to the village, even the mother was like screaming, Ruth is coming. This is wonderful. So for me, I was laughing. I'm like, these people are very funny. Yeah. Not knowing that they had plans about me. They were planning for me to help them out. So they were excited to see me. So we reached home. We were welcome. So I was told that this guy, his siblings were not eating from that home.
What does that mean? Like
that because he's a firstborn and they had just bought that land and constructed the house. So because he's the firstborn, his siblings cannot eat before he does. So we
traditional.
Yes, I don't know which kind of tradition is that, because I'm also a low like them. The moment that we sat like this, the mother was like, hey Ruth, come to the dining, come and open a table for us. I'm like, okay, what does she mean? I was asking the guy that now you can just go and start eating, then the rest will follow. I'm like, why me? That no, you are my wife and we are the firstborns, you know, so no problem. And for me, I was just going. I went. The father's like, hey, bite a bread and take a sip of tea, then we follow you. I was also doing whatever they say, because lunchtime the same. Hey, bite ugali, let us follow you. I did the same. I asked him, okay, when are we going home? When are we going back to Nairobi? That, you know, when the house is done, then we enter. That is when we'll go back.
So how long does it take to complete this house?
They completed around like a week. Yeah. So when the house was done, that time they were telling me, you see your house is done? I'm like, okay, yeah. So no problem. He came to me around 3 p.m. that Ruth, mommy and daddy are saying we are going to your home tomorrow for introduction. That was the time my eyes opened, like, okay, what's wrong with these people? Why my home? Why the rush? And I told auntie, you know what? I don't want people to know anything. Because these people, first of all, they are rushing me. The second thing, I don't know this guy. And my heart does not accept them. So when we go to the village, people will be asking me later that, how is that guy doing? How is the family, you know? And maybe I'm not going to be with him because I don't know anything about him. Maybe he's lying to me and he's still married. I don't know.
At this point, you didn't know he had another wife?
I didn't know the white woman was there because he told me that they separated many years ago. So, and he was telling me that he was there with the lady because of the papers. So since I'm also flying a lot, I know these things. When you want to settle, you can marry a white person or a white lady to get the papers. Yeah. So my auntie told me, don't worry. So they were like, okay. The father was telling me, Ruth, you know what? Tonight you must sleep there. So I got mad. I told them, I'm leaving now. I'm going to Nairobi. My daughter is going to school. I'm leaving now. So they could not stop me. Yeah. And that's how we left. So when I came with my daughter, the guy remained back home. I didn't know that time he stayed back home. They were telling him to forget about me.
You're not a wife material.
Yes. Yeah. So he came after 4 days and he was to fly back. So when he flew back to Switzerland, I stayed also for a few days and went back to China. So from there, we were just communicating. And after the guy left, I could call the parents. They were not answering my calls. They were not replying my messages. So I just kept quiet. When I went back to China, I was trying to call them that, okay, I reached safe. I'm in China now. They were not answering my calls. So I had to ask the guy, okay, why is it that since we left home, your parents are not talking to me? He was like, leave them. Don't mind them. I didn't know they were telling him to keep off me, that I've not finished whatever I was to go and finish. So after 6 months, no, that was January. Yeah. So in June, I was coming back home. That was 2017. And I told him that, you know, the elections are coming. I want to stay home for like 3 months. I will leave the country after the elections in 2017. So he told me that, okay, we'll meet back home. I'm coming in July, early July. I want to come before elections too. Then he came. When he was planning to come, his younger brother, the last one, could come to my house anyhow. Even the time I was not around, he could just come. So I sent him a message and I told him, okay, I'm around, I'm back. And your brother is coming also soon. Then he was asking me questions like, oh, really? When is he coming? What did he tell you? I asked him, okay, oh, you guys, are you not talking? You can ask him. I didn't know they were fighting already. Even the younger one. Yeah, they were fighting about the same issues. So when he came, I told him, you know, I told your brother you're coming soon, but not like today. No, I didn't tell him the date. And he started shouting at me. Why did you talk? Why did you tell them? You're not supposed to tell them. I don't want those witches near us. I'm like, who are witches? My parents and everybody. Those people are wizards. They should not come near you. I don't want them to see, to get close to you. If anybody comes in your house, chase. I said, no, I cannot do that. It's not a blessing to chase someone. On Thursday, I became sick. From around 4, I became so sick. My head was aching. I could scream. I was very sick. And I was rushed to the hospital. And when we reached there, they did some tests. There was nothing found. So I was injected diclofenac, just painkillers, and I was given some tabs. So after every 2 hours, I could take the tabs. If I don't take, I would just be screaming, crying, I'm sick. So we went like that. Even on Friday, I was taken back to the hospital for injections. And he was supposed to leave on Saturday. So he was asking me to change the ticket. I told him, no, don't change. Just go. I'll be okay. So he went on Saturday. After he went on Saturday, he called me on Sunday on his arrival and told me that I read so safe. But I know you are very sick. And don't hide anything from me. You are very sick the way I left you. There's no change, yeah? And I know what is happening to you. My parents are killing you. They're blaming you for me not going to see them. They're saying you used your juju. You don't want me to see them. And they hate you. And they hate you since. And it was like, do you know the reason why I didn't go to them? Because they're calling you a witch. You don't want to listen to them. They wanted you to stay in the village with them. And I said no. They wanted to control your life. And you refused to be controlled. They wanted to use you in so many things, and I could not allow them. So that's the reason why they hate you, and they wanted you to die. You sleeping in that house, you are going to die. So that's why I refused and went to the hotel. I didn't want us to sleep in that house. If we would have slept together from there, you are going to die, or your life was going to be miserable. It was a sacrifice that you're going to do. And I couldn't let them hurt you. So if you're sick like that tomorrow, please tell me. I've already insulted them. I'm still insulting them. And I told them I'll book my flight and come and shoot them with my gun. So just tell me everything. So for me, I was shocked. I was like, okay. Maybe it's right, because what's happening to me?
I can't explain it.
Yes. So after there, the mom called me. That, Ruth, my daughter, are you sick? I'm really praying for you, Mommy, okay? I'm praying for you. Don't worry, you'll be okay. Then I said, Mommy, okay, thank you. So then from after she called me, I could not even sleep. For 3 days I wasn't sleeping. After she hung up, I asked for my brother to give me a porridge, and I drank the porridge, and I felt asleep. From 4, I slept up to like 7. So then at night, I just slept nicely. I just slept well, though I was still sick, but I wasn't screaming again. Very early in the morning at 6, she called me. Are you okay now? You see, I prayed for you. You are now okay. And to be honest, I was okay. I wasn't sick again. I even woke up at that time and washed clothes, yeah. And immediately she hung up, the son called me.
Now you have me.
Yes. You see now, Mommy, you're okay? I told you Mommy was killing you. So she had to undo something. Yeah, to make sure that you're okay. I threatened to kill them. And I want to tell you this thing. Just keep off them. Those witches, keep off them. Now you understand the reason why I didn't want to go to them. They are witches. They don't want anything good for anybody. So just stay away. I went back to China. And I asked him, okay, why is it that I was telling you about everything that was going on down there? You didn't care. He told me the truth. I'm really sorry. These people are threatening to tell the white lady about you. And you know what will happen after that? I'll be shot or deported or my life will end. And now what will we do? So that's when I'm like, okay, are you have a wife? Yes, you have a white lady? Erica is still there? Then he was begging me, please don't leave me. Mommy and daddy deceived me, you know. They were telling me that you are a Luo lady, so you can be used. A white woman doesn't know anything about the culture. Yeah, all these things were done by my parents. Please, just stay. Don't leave me. I'm like, okay. So why didn't you tell me before? Yes, at least I'll know how to handle things. I wasn't going to go there, but I would stay with you. That no, you know, you see the reason why I couldn't build a house because I didn't have a Luo daddy. So at least you are there. I could do other things. And they were telling me that you'll be representing me in Kenya. Like when they need a firstborn, you can be going. That was their plan. But you see now I fought with them. We are not friends because of that. Then I said, okay, no problem. My daddy was a polygamist, so I don't have a problem. I was just deceiving him, but in my heart I was like, no. This is not a place to stay. It's not my portion to go to someone's husband. So later, they kept on sending messages. When I blocked this one, they're using the other number. I told him, please, I want you to keep off my life. This is too much for me. Just leave me.
At this point, were you still in a relationship with this man?
Yeah, I was still there, but we were just talking. But in my heart, I was saying, no, this is a terrible family to go to. Yeah, it's a terrible, because if someone tells you that my parents are witches, what will you do with the person? Yeah. Of course, you can't stay. Whether it's a nice person, but at the same, is that blood? Yeah, they can do anything. And these people will be fighting me like forever.
Of course.
Yes.
So at what point did you decide enough is enough, I'm walking out of this marriage?
That was the time I told him, like, I'm done. Yeah, we can just be friends, but I don't want anything like a relationship with you. Yeah, just keep off me.
So what happened after?
So after there, he kept quiet. So when he was quiet, like he was giving me blue ticks, and me too, I just kept quiet. So after 3 months, I started having nightmares. I could dream about pythons. Yeah, I was dreaming about the things that I couldn't understand. I started having wet dreams. Yeah, I could see the image of a person coming, but I couldn't see like who. And every morning when I could wake up, I could find that I've messed. Yeah. So this thing continued. And whenever I could have this kind of dream, I could feel like I need to continue. Yeah, my body was always hot, very hot. So I felt like, okay, I need to continue. And that's how I started masturbating. Yeah, that's when I started masturbating. And this thing continued. Even on the road when I was walking, I could feel like I need to hide somewhere and do it. Yes.
Were you in Kenya this time?
No, I was in China. I was in China, and I was alone. So at the same time, when I could have stress, when I think about my daughter or whatever I'm going through in China, that was where I was finishing my stress. Yeah. So this thing continued. And then at the same time, I started hating men. I could just fight with anyone who comes across. Like maybe the person will approach you. I would just tell you, like, keep off me.
How long did you struggle with this?
For 4 years. Yeah.
How bad was it then?
It was really, really bad, because I could do it like 6 times a day. Yeah.
Feeling guilty after?
Of course I do. And sometimes, like in China, we're not going to church. So most of the time I could do it like on a Sunday. That's when I'll realize, or later, like, oh my God, it's a Sunday. Like, why?
Did anyone know that you've been struggling with this? Like,
no, I couldn't share. I couldn't share. I was feeling embarrassed. I was feeling dirty. Yeah, I was feeling, okay, someone will judge me. Yes.
So, and as we conclude, you probably have a message to a Kenyan or, someone out there who's struggling with this problem of masturbation. What advice do you have?
The only advice I can have for them is to pray. Because I delivered myself. Yeah. You can deliver yourself. It's only you have to trust in the Lord. God is there. People don't know that God is there. God is there and he listens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wants someone with pure heart, you know. So the way I prayed, like, okay, so many people had looked for me. The only thing I was telling them was just pray. Because some of them were calling me, pray for us. You are delivered. Yeah, pray for us. I would tell a person, like when you're struggling with something, you want to achieve your goal. You know the sweat, you know the struggle, you know the pain, you know. That is the way you are supposed to pray. Because when I pray for you, there is no struggle. You can struggle through fasting, you can struggle through kesha, stay all night without praying. Yeah. So when you know this kind of struggle, next time you'll not allow the enemy to play with you. You say that if you know where I came from, the way I've fought to be here today, you cannot mess with my life. So I would just advise people to keep on praying. Pray without ceasing because God is there.